One of the big questions for folks in Paulding and Dallas is whether the Dallas Theater, which seats as many as 500 patrons, would cut the mustard as a professional theater. Well, the folks producing A Mount Pleasant Homecoming are the first professional troupe to appear on our local stage. We interviewed David Kilpatrick, who played the role of the Reverend Melvin Oglethorpe, about the theater, its acoustics, and its presence.
The Mount Pleasant Homecoming came over to see the theater about a week before we started rehearsal over here, because we wanted to see what it looked like, get the lay of the land, see how far it was to drive to Dallas. But we walked in and we brought some guitars and we all sat up on stage and started singing a couple of our songs, mainly to see if we were going to be required to be mic'd. Nobody really loves using body mics, so we weren't looking forward to the answer because we suspected that we would have to be amplified. But we all sort of got up on stage and picked up our guitars and whatnot and started singing. And then one by one we'd go to the back of the house and listen. Everybody was amazed at how great the acoustics are. So much so that we've all are pretty much in agreement that the acoustics here are actually better than they are at Theater in the Square where we came from. The pieces, the vocal pieces, or the vocal parts, or the different instrumental sounds, the guitar, the mandolin, the violin, each part you hear clearer in this space than you do actually at Theater in the Square. And you know, Theater in the Square is an intimate house. It seats 225, and the furthest back is row L, I think. So it's smaller, much smaller house than this. So we were pretty flabbergasted that the acoustics here are as good as they are. And they really are terrific. Every time we have friends who come to see the show here, and we've had many, they've all remarked, I sat back on row P and couldn't believe that you guys weren't amplified. Opening night, a friend of mine sat up in the balcony. She actually works with me at Theater in the Square. And she sat up in the back row of the balcony just to see what the acoustics would be like. She said, I heard everything. I couldn't believe it. I was in the back row of the balcony and I heard everything clearly, very clearly. So we've been very, very pleased to play.
Just curiosity, y'all are professional actors. Y'all have been on a variety of stages around the country, I assume. And how would this rate to other stages, I guess? Might be not just the Theater in the Square.
Yeah, the Dallas Theater is unusual in that it is a converted movie theater. It's really beautifully reappointed. The first time I walked in, I was taken aback because I thought they did a great job with the renovation. I mean, it looks like a movie theater from the period, but it also plays extremely well for live theater. The lobby is nice, the house is nice, they have a really amazing board up in the stage manager's booth. The backstage area, I was telling somebody the other day who's with the city of Dallas, I was amazed because you expect the front of house, what the audience sees, to be nice, but the dressing rooms and all the actor facilities back behind the stage that most of your patrons will never see are also really nice. They did a really good job of renovating the whole facility. It's just a really terrific place to work. Like I said, we were all extremely pleased. And not only the first day that we came over here to play in the facility, but after we started rehearsing over here and after we started playing to audiences over here, we realized that it's a really good facility. I mean, it's intimate enough, despite the fact that it's right at a 500-seat house. It doesn't seem that large. And the first row of seats is not terribly far away from the stage, so they feel closer. And we were talking today, on those nights where we've had less than 100 people, despite the fact that we cram them mostly into the center section, they go far enough back that it doesn't feel like it's a really small audience. There can be less than 100 in the house, but it still feels like a relatively decent-sized crowd. They just did a really great job with this facility. There are very few theaters in Atlanta this nice. And I mean professional live stage theaters. Most of them are converted storefronts and warehouses. And I think Dallas really has a little jewel here, because they've taken what was a piece of history and turned it into a really beautiful facility. And I think the community here will really enjoy coming and seeing things here, because it's just a great facility right in downtown. We've already discovered the Mexican restaurant across the street. Best flan I've ever had. Forget his name. Jesse owes me for that. We've been to Hickory Hut, best barbecue in Dallas, Paulding County, I'm sure. So we've been checking out the area, just because we're here 6 days a week. But it's a great little facility.
For Paulding.com, G. Patton Hughes reporting.